this here. Look at this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's Tuesday here on ScoreOnAir.com, and we don't know what it is.
What you gonna do, brother?
We can't really explain it. We can't really tell you what it is.
Watch it. He looks fired up here. This is going to be fun to watch.
All we know, it's Loganity.
Oh, my God!
And it starts now.
Got him up in her hand. Come on. Oh, no, that glass table. Think about what the damage the glass can do. Oh, my God. They just crushed it right through the glass. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome to another episode of Loganity here on Off the Wall Tuesday. That's right, it's Loganity presented by Mojo Sports Gear on Off the Wall Tuesday. Score on air. First thing I got to do, I have to introduce the three J's. You know, there's J&J Security, and now I've got J&J. I'd like to introduce first our guest this week, Justin. How are you, my friend?
I am absolutely wonderful. Thrilled to be here and ready to put the stomp down on everybody.
Well, the pleasure is all yours. Absolutely, the pleasure is all yours. Jason.
Yes.
But anywho, and of course I have to kick it quickly to the man that makes it all happen. He makes it all happen. James Hot Hand, how are you, James?
What's going on, everybody?
Oh, it's just another day in paradise, another episode of Loganity. That's right, 2 hours live. It's not insanity, folks. It's Loganity. So with that, we've introduced everybody. There was a certain pay-per-view that most of you probably didn't know.
Allowing women to wrestle.
And the Lacey Evans and Natalia, they got to wrestle the first ever women's match in Saudi Arabia, and that, in my opinion, guys, and I'll of course kick it to you, see how you feel about it, is one of the bright sides of WWE doing this deal. There's a lot of negatives that we'll get into, but maybe WWE represents a glimmer of hope for real change and for real women's rights compared to everything else they have over there. I mean, we have our own issues here in this country, but our worst issues look good compared to the lack of rights women have in that country. So maybe this deal will be a glimmer of hope, and they prove that that's possible by allowing Natalia, that's James's girl over there. He's a natty guy, Mr. Natty Light himself. And Lacey Evans, and I thought that was such a beautiful moment. I hate, of course, that they had to wrestle in those full body suits because women can't be women over there. But we'll take what we can get. What'd you guys think of it? Justin, I'll kick it to you first.
Personally, I think that country, the way they do things is a little bit weird because obviously the men own the women, which is why they're not allowed to dress the certain way or have any kind of skin, because apparently it's considered a very, very bad thing that you can get executed for.
Yeah, I just think, but did you enjoy the fact that the WWE somehow or another coaxed them into allowing women to wrestle the match? I'm
glad that actually happened. I'm glad that there were actually women that were also in the audience, because if you watch last year, it was all men.
Yeah, there was. I would say even at Super Showdown earlier this year, it was nothing but a. I'm not going to say what kind of fest it was. We're going to keep it serious. Keep it serious for this topic. But you can fill in the blank on that one. Yeah, I loved it. What was your thoughts on it, my man?
I thought it was great, and not only. I mean, you could tell that there were restrictions, kind of like when they visit China. They had to perform that match in front of someone. You could just tell how the match went, that they had done this before, which is fine. If that's what you have to do to get that match to happen, then do it.
Yeah, if you got to do the old Ric Flair's 80s every night thing, go ahead.
Totally fine. And the biggest thing was the emotion from everyone.
Absolutely.
Like, rivalries didn't matter. And normally Crown Jewel, like, the Saudi shows don't matter. This one seemed to. Yeah. More than just for the women, but storyline-wise as well.
Sure.
But when you look at them embracing and crying in the ring, them embracing and kissing the women out there, Corey Graves crying at commentary, that is huge. It sends a huge message to that country that maybe it's time to chill out a little bit on. I don't know why they have the rules they do, because men run everything, obviously, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
But
get
maybe this is a eyes wide open kind of a thing, because the men were on their feet.
It's one of those things, like when the original controversy about the Saudi deals started happening, because the Greatest Royal Rumble, the first show, didn't have that much controversy. We thought, well, that's different, and you maybe didn't like, but it was the second one. It was the first crown jewel that got because there was the journalist and all that thing, and I mean, to the point that even Undertaker got booed when he mentioned the name Crown Jewel. And so, for me, maybe, again, like Seth Rollins said, maybe it's a chance to give those fans hope and give those people hope, because they are fans too. They are people too. And so, to me, that represented what's best about the WWE. This all-inclusive, amazing thing that we're all a part of, because when WWE is at its best, and it's rare these days it is, but every now and again, and they did it again, you have a moment where it transcends race, religion, creed, taste, and everyone just goes, my Lord, this is magical. And that's what they did, and I was so glad to see it. And with that, that's our serious note for Loganity here. It's time to kick it into high gear and not be quite so serious. But just lastly, amazing moment. I'm so glad they got it to happen. But now let's move it along. Crown Jewel, of course, and I call it style wherever you may be. The Sultan of Style said that Flair was going to go over, and I was like, brother, have you been watching the last 30 years? Hogan puts nobody over. And so Team Hogan beat Team Flair. I enjoyed the match. It told a respectable story. My biggest disappointment was, why no physical contact between the Nature Boy and the Hulkster? They teased it and teased it and teased it and teased it. And I wasn't, I'm not expecting them to have a full-fledged brawl. I was just thinking, 1, 2, 3 punches, knock Flair down, ball game. That's it. That's all I thought was going to take place. And they didn't do it. Because if you guys saw on WWE.com, and I'm not plugging them because they're not paying me, but if you'd like to, give me a call. They teased fighting, because Flair said, you're going to get punched in the mouth tomorrow. He said that over in Saudi Arabia. And they didn't have any contact whatsoever, and I just found myself going, why? But why didn't they have any contact? But, Jason, what did you think of the match? What did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty good. I was kind of hoping for that. But
Yeah, when Randy Orton comes out of nowhere for the big RKO, and no, it was a nice throwaway 5-on-5. It was enjoyable, absolutely. What did you think of it, Justin?
I absolutely loved watching Roman Reigns knock all the bowling pins down.
Oh,
when he threw over the top ropes and just knocked them all down, just like it was a strike.
Yeah, you gotta love that. You gotta love that when the big dog goes flying, because that's a thing for whatever reason. I mean, because he's not over enough. He's got to be a big guy that can go over the top rope. So
you know the funny thing about it?
Sure.
Hulk Hogan was cleared, but Ric Flair was not.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Ric Flair was actually in the hospital. I think it was like 2 weeks prior. I don't remember exactly what for, but he wasn't cleared. But Hulk was actually cleared to wrestle, which is weird because nobody thought he would wrestle again.
He's not cleared for anything ever.
Because Flair said at least to TMZ, and then to Corey Graves on WWE's new After the Bell podcast. Again, not plugging, but if you'd like me to, that he is cleared to take bumps. So I don't know if he's if Ric Flair is doing what Ric Flair does, he's embellishing, or it's just maybe they thought better and said, because we saw Hogan in the video with the fan walking around with a crutch. Maybe they thought, let's not take any chances with these two, and let's just have them stare at each other eye to eye, and look, it's Team Hogan versus Team Flair. But yes, the little nostalgia lover in me said, why haven't Hulk Hogan punched Ric Flair yet? Why hasn't that happened? It was upsetting.
He had to thank him for helping him get off the ground.
Kayfabe, brother. Kayfabe. We're trying to kayfabe it here, all right? Trying to kayfabe it. All right, let's move it along. Brock Lesnar defeated Cain Velasquez quickly in like 2 minutes or something like that. Justin, what'd you think of it?
Why did they build up Kane so much to make him look like he's going to be undefeated?
Injury. There was an injury going into the match on Cain Velasquez. That's why it ended the way it did. As quick as what it was.
I love his wrestling style, but honestly, it's just Brock Lesnar doing the same thing. Backflip.
But how about you? How about you?
Well, I kind of think it was a bigger dumpster fire than the Miami Dolphins are right now.
Listen
Like,
to that.
there's just...
How's that for a hot take?
The minute and a half I got, like...
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and cut loose on this one because again, this is gonna be a show where we're gonna take some time here because the rundown is not that thick, but my opinions are. Look, first of all, this is WWE. This is a wrestling match, people. I don't want to see them fake pretend MMA fight. I don't want to see them shoot, fight, or anything like that. That's what we were doing. We were essentially playing patty cake with hands and feet here for the first minute and a half, and I don't quite understand that. Cain Velasquez, if you had any chance of injury, if your knee was hurt when you signed the deal, well, in real sports, you can't sign a deal while you're injured. You can't be traded while you're injured. So why in the world did we have this match where it gets built up, and I mean Heyman cut many a great promo like he always does. I don't understand it. Cain Velasquez, as far as the debut goes, and it's not that he looked bad, but for all that build up and for a minute and a half of action, I mean a lot like me on date night. It absolutely, anyone see what I did there? Thanks. No laughs, God, tough for him. Anywho, tougher than me on day night. Anyway, at the end of the day, I don't understand. Why did we get all this build if we knew he was hurt going into it? If we knew he was hurt going into it. Because guess what? And we'll get to it. There's going to be a lot more Saudi Arabia shows coming around the bend. We couldn't have waited. Couldn't have waited until that surgery takes place. Because if you want Brock Lesnar on the card, you can just randomly throw him in there with anybody. I don't know. Rey Mysterio for some reason. That's
I mean, that would have...
So, a big whiny boo-hoo to Vince McMahon and company for that one. I don't like it one bit. It completely missed the mark. Look, I'm glad Brock won because he's the reigning, defending, undisputed, the whole spiel. And I think Brock Lesnar is the greatest athlete in the company. So I want him to win every match he possibly competes in. But, for holy Moses, for the love of humanity, we build that up for a month and we get that? Talk about an anticlimax. I mean, it's... What? It had a worse ending than Game of Thrones. Good Lord. That's just horrible. I mean, god-awful. Atrocious. WWE and your 45 members of the creative team, you ought to be ashamed of yourself because if you knew he was hurt and you want to pretend yourself is real, then don't let him compete in the match. Because again, there's a slew of guys, whether we've seen it or not seen it, AJ Styles I'm thinking of, could have gone in there and worked some magic with Brock Lesnar. Instead, we got that popcorn fart. No thank you, I'll pass. And we'll come back and we're going to talk about the rest of Crown Jewel, because I had to get that out, guys. Had to get that out.
That's fair.
Had to get that out. I got a little hot under the collar. It's only Loganity. It's just who I am. But we're going to come back and we'll talk about the Fiend winning the championship. We'll talk about it all. And yeah, we're going to talk about those travel issues. We got plenty to say on that. So we're going to take our first break right here on Loganity, brought to you by Mojo Sports Gear. We'll be back in just a hot second.
The future of broadcasting is evolving, and you can be on the front line. Digital and traditional media jobs are being created daily, and the Columbus campus of the Ohio Media School can help you find your next career. With financial aid and job placement assistance available, the Columbus campus of the Ohio Media School provides instruction from industry-experienced veterans like me, ready to share their knowledge of the media broadcasting industry. Contact us today at 614-655-5250 or apply online at beonair.com. The Ohio Media School. Media broadcasting training starts here.
Are you someone who has always dreamed of a career in sports media? The Ohio Media School now offers a 6-month sports emphasis program to prepare you for a whole new career. Whether it's radio or television, play-by-play or production, the Ohio Media School has you covered. You will receive training from professionals that are actually in the industry. The Ohio Media School will get you where you need to be for a successful career in this exciting, expanding field. To schedule a visit, call 614-655-5250 or go to beonair.com. Stop dreaming about a career in sports and make it a reality at the Ohio Media School. Do you have a passion for broadcasting, sports, or film production? The Ohio Media School is currently enrolling. For more information, visit beonair.com or give us a call at 614-655-5250. That's 614-655-5250.
And we're back here on another episode of Loganity. It's Off the Wall Tuesday. I am the leader of Off the Wall. I am the living, breathing embodiment of Loganity. And I'm here with JJ and J Security. That would be Justin, James, and Jason. There are more J's going around than a jumper at an NBA game. I'll tell you, there's a lot of J's flying around here. But I'm going to handle all of you. I'm going to wrangle all of you, and we're going to talk about it all. So we went over Team Hogan, Team Flair. We went over the absolute train wreck of Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez. Hate to say I told you so, folks, but I told you so. And now we're going to talk about one of the actual highlights. That's right, there was a highlight to Crown Jewel. The Fiend beat Seth Rollins. That's right, Bray Wyatt. This is a friendship that will never end. He beat Seth Rollins, and he is now your new reigning Universal Champion. What'd you think of that, guys? Justin, I'll kick it off with you. What'd you think of it?
I honestly don't know, because after the finish from, 2 weeks ago, when he came out of the ring and just, snapped his neck and everything like that, and then you have this match right here, what's really in it for Seth Rollins to lose like that?
To quickly answer your question, then I'll kick it to the other Jay. I don't think there's anything in it for Seth Rollins. I think there's a little thing called ratings, and they're like, let's get them to go up. So the other Jay, that's right, my main man, Jason. What'd you think of it?
It's about damn time. What is going on? Why did this take so long? Why couldn't they just do this at Hell in a Cell?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not complaining. We got another. I thought that match was pretty good as far as standards go. The stomp was overdone. They probably could have figured something else out to do, but that's nitpicky. It was a good, no-holds-barred match, and The Fiend's the champion. That's the main thing here. They finally went with the hot hand. I don't know why they didn't go with it sooner. They should have learned from Becky Lynch. Just go with it. If it doesn't work, you can put the title on someone else. It's not the end of the world. It happened with Bray once before.
Absolutely.
And I'm curious to see where this goes and how long his reign lasts, because after these last two matches, he can't lose to anyone. Even Brock Lesnar might not be able to beat him right now.
How long until he goes stale, though? He's going to go stale again, just like his character did before. That's when he's going to drop the title.
Booking hurt his character.
Yeah. Because
losing all of those matches hurt the Bray Wyatt character. I never got tired of following the buzzards.
Yeah, because
I
to me, he
loved
was still a good character. It just, you couldn't take it quite as seriously because he didn't beat anybody. He was like Ric Flair in the 90s. Yeah, you had a big feud, and then you didn't beat anybody. So he didn't. That's just my thing. But before I give my Loganity take on it, James, you got anything for it?
It's a good call, because after what we've seen, what's going to happen, we see where they're going with Rollins with this. They're circling the horse back to the Triple H Rollins deal. But they're doing it in the NWO-esque kind of way.
Oh, did you just say
see
NWO?
what he did there.
That calls, fellas, for a too sweet. Justin, are you going to join in on said too sweet?
No.
Is not going to.
I mean, here at Loganity, look, that's kind of a rite of a passage.
Because I will take it a completely different way, go away from the NWO, and I just got to say, I got two things to say. And it's not too sweet. I'm kidding.
He wasn't
I'm
too sweet.
kidding.
He wasn't
I'm
too
kidding.
sweet. Adam!
All right.
Adam!
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Adam! Gambino! You're telling me you want this guy on the show and he wasn't too sweet me? He wasn't too sweet me? He wouldn't give me a little diabetes? He wasn't too sweet me? He doesn't live in that world. It's not for him. Justin, this might be your last
I'm a little
episode.
offended.
Are you a little offended?
A little bit.
I mean, the too sweet!
I've got to be the heel.
I guess
I
somebody
just
does
gotta
have to
be
be
the
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 heel.
two
that's
sweeters
true.
are the heels. The two sweeters are the heels.
But we all love them so much.
I like Hulk Hogan. I'm okay with the NWO. Completely okay with it.
All right.
I honestly am not that big a fan of DX, so
No, I'm not either.
I'm definitely for it too, sweet, always.
But believe me when I tell you, I don't do. Look, let's be clear. We'll get back to this. When I do a Too Sweet, I'm not paying tribute to the Clique and the little curtain call and their little man-child ego. No, I'm paying tribute to the NWO because when Hollywood said he was NWO, he was NWO for life, brother. I don't like you, Clique. Anyway.
That's why.
Tell us how you really feel about the Clique, sir.
They're a bunch of overgrown man-child, and the whole reason that Triple H is a star is because he has it with the boss's daughter. Anyway, because Triple H is the guy that works with the guy that draws a lot of money. Anywho, we're way off the trails. Look, back to the Fiend. I loved it because at the end of the day, yeah, Justin, I totally see your point. There's a great chance it goes stale. Sure, but you gotta ride the hot hand. You know, if you look at it from a sports standpoint, when LeBron James is hot, eventually LeBron James is gonna go cold. But while he's hot, you might as well ride that wagon.
Just like his hairline.
Right. And yes, someday, like LeBron's hairline, the Fiend's gonna fall back. Look, it will happen, and probably quickly, knowing how WWE books things. But at the end of the day,
he's got a teammate like Big Boy that will let him know.
Yeah,
his hair's right.
Hey, let's ring it in. But look, he's the hottest thing coming and going. I love the Fiend. I love the whole Firefly Funhouse thing, and I didn't have any issues with the original character either. The only thing I miss about the original character though is I think the OG theme was better. I think because the OG theme had that bass line, it was all boom, 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 like it was just good. It was just tasty. It was delicious.
I don't know. I've been guilty of playing the new one after dropping off my son at school as loud as possible.
And you find yourself going, hurt! Heal! Like, yes, I've done that. No, I haven't done that in the car with Spotify or anything.
No, not at all.
No. But anywho, look, I like it because you got to go the hot hand. And the reality is Seth Rollins as a face is as boring as unbuttered toast. He can scream all he wants about Burn It Down, and which is really just a crappy way to tune up the band, if you think about it. And so God, it was just bland. It was vanilla. Like, at least give me the ice cream cone with the caramel in the center. Like I said, as a face, Seth Rollins is.
I really don't think Seth Rollins has really ever given himself a good build.
Well, it's because he's working with a lot of people that don't give him good builds. Because keep in mind that when he's in what I'm expected to believe is the greatest modern faction of all time, he's in that faction with one Roman Reigns, who, in case you didn't know, is The Rock's cousin. Oh, and that's almost like Charlotte Flair's daughter.
Almost pretty close.
That whole thing. But anywho. But no, I liked it. I liked it very much. I enjoyed it. That's who needs to be it. I was so disappointed with the travel issues. That's right, we're getting to that. Because the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, couldn't be on Miss TV. And now, speaking of travel issues, let's talk about them. Folks, if you don't know, WWE had 7 ways from Sunday. They tried to get back from Saudi Arabia, and they just couldn't do it. Reportedly, Vince McMahon left like 2 hours before his actual roster did, because that's how a leader leads, from afar. That's how you produce from afar. That's like calling me over to move furniture. You know, I'm not really going to move anything, but by God, I'll be in the back directing it. And so they had all sorts of issues. Now, the big PR spin, whether it be true or not, we're going to get into it, was that there was mechanical issues. All right, stuff happens. This is Saudi Arabia. We don't have all the funding in the world. We're paying all that funding to Vince McMahon. And so that's what happened. But there was heavy rumors. That, I mean, I'm talking about heavy like my 600-pound life. That this was way more than just, apparently that joke fell flat too. Come on, my ego needs this. Again,
your reactions are just so hilarious, sir. We wait for those.
And speaking of high, WWE didn't get high in the ground of Saudi Arabia for a long time. Yes. 6 long hours out in Saudi Arabia. They had such travel issues. They couldn't get back. There were people tweeting they're never going to come back to the country. There were some rumors that it was a rib on Vince over issues they're having for pay and things like that. I've heard that Vince is owed $500 million or something like that for all these shows that he's been doing and apparently not getting paid for.
Apparently he took it off the air for like 40 minutes before he finally got everything settled.
Yeah. So again, there's been a whole lot of things, but in did you see this one coming? Given all that reports, now and that's all rumor and innuendo, and believe me, I'm really good at that. It's been confirmed, an official WWE statement. We're going to do even more Saudi Arabia shows through 2027. Because, well, sure, your government may have held our roster hostage. Sure, half the roster doesn't care to be there. Sure, a third of them ain't going to go hell or high water. They wouldn't go if you held them at gunpoint. But there's money to be made, pal. There's money to be made. And when it comes to money, he's Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I imagine he's sitting there like the Joker with the big pile of money, the Dark Knight, and he's just like starting to burn some because he's just got so much. He just has so much. Because, by the way, they said in the press release there's going to be now 2 upscale major events in Saudi Arabia. Wasn't there already 2? Because this year in June we had Super Showdown, which had the Undertaker Goldberg fiasco, and then we just got off Crown Jewel. So does that mean there's going to be 2 more? Does that mean that WWE will now be creating a performance center in Saudi Arabia? Will they be having a home base? Is that how this is going to go? And I know, half the roster isn't going. But before I get really fired up here, because I ain't there yet, what do you think of it, Justin?
Personally, with the issues that happen to just come about with everybody and them trying to chart their own flights and everything,
Out of nowhere.
I don't think it's funny because you look at all the different accounts from the superstars. There were military around the plane and blocking the plane. And, I mean, you have AJ Styles coming on and saying, oh, yeah, it was just a mechanical issue. I didn't see anything wrong. This is what I saw, blah, 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 blah. You had Vince McMahon literally before Raw last night reiterate that it was caused by mechanical issues and nothing more, and only blamed the talent speculation. It was only their view of why they were having issues.
It's your fault, pal.
It's your fault that you see these military folk around the plane, right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's funny, though, because, you know,
Oh, I'm laughing.
Brock Lesnar, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, they all took Brock Lesnar's plane.
Sure did.
They just happened to get out of there before everybody else was held hostage.
Well, because let's be honest, the rest of the roster's pretty good. But they're not Hulk Hogan, they're not Ric Flair, and they're not
So all the crappy stars got stuck over there, couldn't make it over here, and then all the bigger name stars just happened to disappear, right?
And you know what Vince would have said? Should have got over, pal. So James, you go ahead and you give me your thoughts on it because I got a whole lot more to say about this one.
No, go ahead. Keep going. We got only a couple minutes before we go to break.
All right, fine. Jason, your turn.
All right. Well, first of all, I am shocked and appalled at a few things. The audacity of Vincent Kennedy McMahon to leave a country like Saudi Arabia without his damn talent. What is wrong with you? You are a multi-billionaire and made millions upon millions of dollars still on the backs of these wrestlers, and you left, and you knew what was going to happen. You had a urinating contest. You knew exactly what was going to happen, and you left anyway. He should be ashamed of himself.
He should be, pal.
I feel like he had a flight to catch.
I don't have time for shame.
Well, that's true. Vince McMahon has never had time for shame.
That's
a proven fact. It's on the network.
The man has beaten the government. He's beaten Ted Turner. He's beaten anything you can beat. And yes, he sure did beat feet right out of Saudi Arabia before any flight issues were to be had.
And then after all the issues, not getting paid, cutting the feed, roster getting stuck there, let's extend the deal. Okay, that makes about as much sense as somebody asking, is your bass grass-fed? What is wrong with you?
Hey, this goes to him, though, here, because I know he's such a big Undertaker fan and everything here. Do you think it would have been the same if Undertaker was over there? Do you think that he would have left them all stranded over there like that?
No. Undertaker? Hell no. I think that's why I forgot his name. Asked who, tweeted out that who's going to be the locker room leader tonight. Yesterday. He wanted to know.
Well, you see, it's awful interesting that this fiasco goes down when the Undertaker is not around. Because, no, I firmly believe that the Undertaker, had he been there, he either would have made Vince stay or he'd have stayed himself and took care of it, because that's the kind of guy the Undertaker is. Because he was going to knuckle up for Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14 if he wasn't going to do the job. And so you can better believe if there was a hostage situation, Undertaker was going to go all-American badass, and he was going to take care of it. So I got nothing but faith in the Undertaker. And speaking of the Undertaker, now that you got half the roster saying we're never going back, I mean even more than we had. With all those, with all that, now we're going to get even more shows in Saudi Arabia. That's right. You've already had 2 make doubles. Why not make it 4? Because if you're this far into depravity, you might as well. Because that's what Vince is sitting there. Because you're right. Vince McMahon is morally bankrupt. That's a duh. We all know that. He shows his butt cheeks on television pretty regularly. He's talked about the size of his grapefruits. He's openly admitted to cheating on his wife with Howard Stern multiple times. I mean, countless. Vince McMahon is a genius, but he's also a very, very morally corrupt, soulless man. He had a match against God. A match against God. In the words of Joey Styles, he mocks God. He mocks God. So look.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, look, here's the deal. Lord. If we're expecting morality from Vincent Kennedy McMahon, what have you been watching, pal?
It's not the morality. It's like we said earlier. Like, what kind of leadership is that?
Oh,
like, why am I even going to take you seriously? Like, yes, you cash my checks. But at this point, half the roster is, yeah, that's it. You cash my check. That is it. And that's not a good thing for a wrestling company. Because if you look at the Attitude Era, for instance, when they exploded, all the guys were closer to Vince McMahon. Had a little, maybe too many guys in his ear, but he's got way more now. But that bond might be broken forever for some of those wrestlers, especially with, these guys chartered their own flight, made the guys that got stuck there and held hostage look bad.
And I know how bad that looks on Vince McMahon's part, no doubt about it. But you don't see anyone lining up to quit either. You don't see anyone like The Fiend or Seth Rollins. Matter of fact, you saw the rumors of Seth Rollins. He gave him an old rah-rah speech, so obviously he's drinking the brass ring Kool-Aid. It's again, I understand how bad it looks. I get that. But this is the same man that literally said, no, we're going to screw Bret Hart hell to high water. And, I mean, he was going to do it one way or the other. It was just a matter of how. And so, anytime that Vince McMahon sinks lower morally, I have no surprises.
I personally think they had this set up.
You think so?
Because I know that they said they had to hurry up and get a bunch of these NXT people on this flight to go to this show. But I think they had it set up because they were already planning on it.
Well,
now let's not get our stars over there. Let's just bring them in from the other one and let's just make it look like something happened. In fact, I think Vince McMahon orchestrated them to have to stay over there.
Well, that's getting a little Alex Jones-esque here. That's getting a little Alex Jones-esque.
Serious accusations.
Yeah, I mean, that's serious, pal. I mean, look, you're telling me that Vince McMahon is in bed with the Saudi government to the point that he would allow his own roster to be, just completely taken hostage?
What if he paid them just to keep him there for a few hours, just so he could have a show not based off of the no-name stars he already has?
Well, I wish I could say it's completely out of the question, but it's not out of the question.
We established that 45 seconds ago.
I mean, it's not out of the question. But with all the roster issues now, because again, I think there are going to be people. I mean, you're going to have to lead them by gunpoint to get them on that plane. You know what that means? We're going to see even more part-timers in Saudi Arabia. I think at this point you will see another Goldberg match in Saudi Arabia. You will certainly see The Undertaker back in Saudi Arabia. You will certainly see Triple H, who I got a lot to say about later. I think you'll even see John Cena, because John Cena's another that's got blind loyalty.
I think Chris Jericho is going to make an appearance.
Are you in the Vince Russo camp that thinks AEW and WWE's in bed together?
I don't know. He was pretty
They're
adamant.
Constantly going at each other. They're doing it in a way that's not hurting each other.
That's how
and he's pretty adamant on his podcast that the one time he went, He made a whole bunch of money, but it was one of the worst experiences he's ever had, and he would never go back. And he was still working for Vince when he said
that point.
this.
By the way,
he's got New Japan. He's already announced for Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, and by the way, it should have been Jericho versus Taker in the casket match. That'd have been so cool to see, because it would have probably been the last really respectable match Undertaker ever has, because Jericho's that good. And that's right, I just put your boy over. You'll have to do that later. So yeah, that's all that. So before we go to break, my man, Hot Hand, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do every Thursday?
Here on Score on Air, you can tune in and join me and Fred as the Degenerate Duo talk fantasy football, college football, all that fun stuff.
You be sure to watch it. What time?
4 to 6.
Right here on
ScoreOnAir.com.
Let's go to break.
The future of broadcasting is evolving, and you can be on the front line. Digital and traditional media jobs are being created daily, and the Columbus campus of the Ohio Media School can help you find your next career. With financial aid and job placement assistance available, the Columbus campus of the Ohio Media School provides instruction from industry-experienced veterans like me, ready to share their knowledge of the media broadcasting industry. Contact us today at 614-655-5250 or apply online at beonair.com. The Ohio Media School. Media broadcasting training starts here.
Are you someone who has always dreamed of a career in sports media? The Ohio Media School now offers a 6-month sports emphasis program to prepare you for a whole new career. Whether it's radio or television, play-by-play or production, the Ohio Media School has you covered. You will receive training from professionals that are actually in the industry. The Ohio Media School will get you where you need to be for a successful career in this exciting, expanding field. To schedule a visit, call 614-655-5250 or go to beonair.com. Stop dreaming about a career in sports and make it a reality at the Ohio Media School. Do you have a passion for broadcasting, sports, or film production? The Ohio Media School is currently enrolling. For more information, visit beonair.com or give us a call at 614-655-5250. That's 614-655-5250.
Loganity brought to you by Mojo Sports Gear. That's right, Mojo. And let me tell you something. Here at Loganity, we got all sorts of Mojo. Way more than any cartoon you've ever seen. I can guarantee that. Anyone get that reference? If you're around my age, you might understand what I just did there. Little Mojo. Come on. All right.
Nothing.
They can't all be hits.
Sorry, man.
They can't all be hits. Anywho, it's a 90s cartoon. We had the guy as a guest speaker here at the Ohio Media School. But nonetheless, alrighty. Well, we've talked about the whole Saudi Arabia fiasco and extension of the deal. Oh, how time, what a difference a day makes, 24 little hours. Now let's talk about SmackDown on Fox. That's right. We had another one of those. So the first things first, the big hot ticket kicking off the show because of flight issues or whatever it may be. Somebody paid Brock Lesnar a little extra money to come make another appearance on Friday Night SmackDown, where he, and when I say he, I mean Paul Heyman. Brock Lesnar stood there and looked angry that he had to get off his couch. He quit Friday Night SmackDown. That's right. He's just up and quitting. He's the champion. He's up and leaving. Heyman cuts a great promo on Rey Mysterio because the story is here, folks, that big bad 6'3", 286-pound Brock Lesnar, I mean, he only looks like Frankenstein, wants revenge on, oh, Dios mío, Rey Mysterio. He wants revenge on Rey Mysterio because Rey Mysterio took him to the woodshed kinda with a chair. I mean, kinda with a chair, maybe? It looked like a 5-year-old trying to beat up a 13-year-old. I don't understand how am I supposed to take that seriously? Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio, and we're going to talk about this a lot today because then there's the segment on Raw. That's right, the catheter show. How am I supposed to take Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio seriously ever, let alone in 2019 when Rey Mysterio's had more knee surgeries than I've had quarter pounders? And that's a lot of quarter pounders, folks. How am I supposed to take that seriously? How? In what world am I to believe that Rey Mysterio in 2019, this is not Rey Mysterio Jr. from WCW, who was the greatest luchador you've ever seen in your life. This is a broken down veteran at the end of his career. No disrespect. None. Rey Mysterio is the greatest mask of all time. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer if there was ballots in WWE. He's great. He's the greatest luchador ever, besides maybe Mil Mascaras. Other than that,
What about Jushin Thunder?
I don't put him in that same class because he didn't stay relevant quite as long. But we can debate that all day. And maybe on the Christmas episodes we'll have that talk because I ain't covering the Christmas episodes too hard. Why am I Brock Lesnar? He's a legit fighting combat machine. Is supposed to be really threatened by Rey Mysterio? No, tell me in the last year, in the last 2 years, in the last 3 years, in the last 4, in the last 5 years, what credible opponent Rey Mysterio has beaten clean?
I can't think of anybody he's really beaten clean in a long time.
No.
Yeah, but he hasn't been clean since Charlie Sheen was clean. All right, he hasn't been clean for quite some time. All right, he hasn't beaten anybody clean since Eminem wasn't clean. So it's a joke that I'm supposed to take this seriously. Survivor Series, one of the big four, the crown jewels, and I don't mean Saudi Arabia. Rey Mysterio versus Brock Lesnar. Who books this? Who? Why?
Could this be heading towards, his son? Could this be somehow building towards the real introduction of his son coming in a wrestling match?
Well, if it's to face Brock Lesnar in any capacity, I want to know who Dominic pissed off. Because the reality is, look, I know it's a work. We all know that. But Brock Lesnar is the only wrestler in 2019 that makes you wonder what is a work and what's not a work. Because he works incredibly stiff. I mean, honestly, can you imagine how far he's going to suplex Rey Mysterio at Survivor Series?
Oh, he's going over the top rope and into the crowd.
It's going to look...
Without a doubt, he's just going to throw him. He's just going to go flying. He's going to be out of the arena.
It's going to look like Bonesaw McGraw versus Spider-Man way back in the day. If anyone got that reference there. I'm talking about the OG. That's right.
So we'll probably see a bunch of spots like when Big Show swung Ray like a baseball bat all those years ago. I think you just throw him in a ladder match and say the hell with it, because Brock Lesnar in the past few years, as good as he is, has his best matches against little guys.
Sure.
Whether we can believe it or not, who's he had a better match with that's not small? AJ Styles is way smaller than him. Daniel Bryan.
Finn Balor the Rumble.
I don't think it's going to be a ladder match.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
No, it won't. He was just spitballing. I'm sure.
Like how to get me more invested.
Yeah, I'm sure that Brock's like, I'm not working a ladder match.
He doesn't have to do anything. He's Brock Lesnar.
Sure.
He can just throw the ladder at Rey Mysterio.
And even if he did get him to work a stipulation, he could do what he did at WrestleMania 32 against Dean Ambrose, which was an Extreme Rules match that literally Brock Lesnar refused to actually work an Extreme Rules match because he's Brock Lesnar and he can pretty much do whatever the hell he wants. Thanks. So, that's... But why in the world am I supposed to... Why insult my intelligence? And why? Who did Rey Mysterio piss off?
Well, who else does Rey Mysterio have as family? We obviously know that he had Cain Velasquez.
Yeah.
So who else does he have? He's hiding someone back there that's going to attack Brock.
Well,
that's why you have the ladder match, so Rey can win the title.
Don't you lose it to his son?
No, I don't want to go that far.
Because evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I think I just did.
No. I'll make you do last episode too. First he wanted to sweep me, and now you want the reign of Brock Lesnar in this soon? I'm hoping it's like 500 days.
I think it's only fair.
To take everybody off. I want the reign to last like 1,000 days, like 4 years Hulk Hogan, just to irritate everybody. Because if you're complaining about it, then you're still paying attention. Because I don't complain about what I don't pay attention to. Think about it.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, think about it. There you go.
But how many matches do we get in those 1,000 days? Can we get like 10, 20?
You're looking at like 5.
Yeah, that's what
I was
I'm
going to say 5 to 7.
I want to see some matches if he's going to be the time.
Yeah,
like
5 to 7 depending on how many
shows.
Yeah. I mean, 5 to 7 depending on the amount of Saudi shows and money, and we can work it out, pal.
Maybe they worked out another deal with Brock and actually made him appear more on TV.
Again, I do believe whatever took place in Saudi Arabia, I believe the only reason he took place on SmackDown was because of that. Because I don't think maybe he was selling, but to me, Brock Lesnar looked genuinely ticked off to be there. He looked like I had plans on my couch, South Dakota Sable. Yeah.
Well, the rumor was he was supposed to quit on Backstage with Renee Young, and
Which
you
is
know,
also now a podcast.
Well, see.
if anything we've seen from Brock Lesnar,
you gotta plug the show and then say you want to sponsor us. This is called Loganity. We're trying to get over here. But yeah, that's my thought on it. We'll get into more of that later. Let's move it on down the line. What'd you think of the NXT invasion, guys? What'd you think of it?
I think it's well needed.
I loved it. How about you?
Oh, I loved it as well. And seeing Ciampa and The Miz, that match was great. There were some botches.
Sure.
But you can see the chemistry they already have of not knowing at least as far as The Miz is concerned. I don't think he knows much about Tommaso Ciampa. Because when he tried to take that Ciampa's finisher, I don't think Miz knew what he was doing. I think Miz was expecting a pedigree. If you look at the look on his face, he's like, wait, what's going on? And then he took that hard hit to the mat, and any more Ciampa is always good.
To me, it looked like an awkward first date. You know, the chemistry's there, but there's still a couple of flub moments. You're like, yeah, I like this. I like this nice little dime piece, but there's still a couple of. Why'd she bite off my fork? And so there's a couple of those. So I think you could be seeing the beginning of something really special. And I don't know. Again, it's because we had no idea. Was it really flight issues or not? We don't know if NXT is really kind of injecting themselves like a lethal dose of poison into the main roster, or if this is just kind of a by hook or by crook speeded up to Survivor Series because we had these issues. That is TBD. I really, really liked it. It gave such fresh life to the show, especially when I knew that the Fiend, the Fiend, and then poor Bray Wyatt, who does nothing wrong. The Fiend does all the terrible things. He's stuck in Saudi Arabia I bet you he's just, Mr. McMahon, why are you doing this to me? And so it really did. It helped. It helped save the show.
So here's a question. Okay, they were in Saudi Arabia. They had all their film camera crew and everything there. Why couldn't they do a live segment with him up on a board somewhere?
Well, that's just. That's a great question. I would have loved to see.
You could have at least seen him somehow do it. All the lights go out, but him not show up. I'll be there.
I don't know. I would have found the M16s a little distracting. Cut a promo.
Yeah, what if he's just got one going? Let me in.
Or let me leave, please.
Oh my, yes sir. But I'll tell you, that was man. Whoo! Because I wanted to see the Fiend because he was the whole reason. I was like, finally, we're going to get Bray Wyatt out of here live. Because the Fire Buffalo obviously pre-tapes segments. So I was like, live Miz TV, yes, this could be cool. It really could, because we know what Bray can do live. We've seen that. He's the modern day Jake Roberts on the microphone. He's very, very good. Very, very good. So I really wanted to see that. Unfortunately, travel issues cut that down. All right, let's talk about Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan for the NXT Championship. I'll go first here because it's my show. What a match. What a match. And plus, the unselfishness of Daniel Bryan. It'd be easy to say because NXT is treated as a little lesser than Raw and SmackDown. I don't care what anyone says, they are. Because they're treated as the developmental, and they're still treated that way to a certain extent. They're treated a little less. So it'd be easy for Daniel Bryan to say, I'm not putting Adam Cole over, baby. No, I'm not doing it. But he does it, and he does it with class, and what a match. What'd you think of it, Justin?
Well, honestly, if you want to know, Daniel Bryan actually already said he would love to have a match with Adam Cole. Mm-hmm. He thought that would be one heck of a match, and he did. He went out there, he put on one heck of a match.
Yes, it was.
He's not going to discredit himself either. He's been going on a downward spiral recently, but he's not going to discredit himself because he put on such a great show.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Now, my main man, my crown jewel Hayden. Come on now.
5-star A+. I mean, whatever you want to say about that match.
Eat that, Meltzer.
It was just. It doesn't need to be more than 5. Well, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, that's. Oh man.
And you touched on it. The professionalism of Daniel Bryan. I don't ever want him to go away. Ever.
Neither do I.
Ever. And not just because of his wrestling ability, which is second to almost no one.
No one. Except maybe AJ Styles on the current roster.
But they just kind of, it's nice to see Daniel Bryan putting over Adam Cole after saying he wanted to have a match with him, because you can have a match with anybody, but a lot of people don't like to put people over.
Talking to you, Michael.
And I'm sure it being a clean win was clearly a Daniel Bryan influence in that match, because he's the consummate professional.
Look, I loved it. Again, Shawn Michaels could take notes from his protege, and maybe necessarily you can put somebody over and not make a mockery of it. Thank you. I'm not bitter about SummerSlam 2005 or anything. But I previewed. I said, look, I had a lot to say about Triple H. Triple H cut this promo, and you see Triple H's promo at the end of the show. Why is Triple H the face of NXT? Why is he getting that big golden shovel out again? Or, excuse me, golden sledgehammer, sir. Because you shouldn't be the face of NXT. You don't see Vince McMahon out there on Raw and SmackDown going, "You want a war, pal? You got a war." No, the face of NXT should be Adam Cole, should be the Undisputed Era, should be Finn Balor. Why does Triple H need to be leading the charge? And let's just completely ignore the fact that he's COO of the company. Because why are you leading the war on the company that you're in the boardroom of trying to make better? Come on, tell me. I mean, next thing you know, you're going to tell me Brock Lesnar's facing Rey Mysterio. Oh, wait.
I think that's happening.
Oh, wait. So, was I the only one thrown off by the fact that Triple H is suddenly in a war with the company he helps run?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm thinking back to the NWO days when Vince McMahon came out and he's like, "I'm going to inject poison into my company if I have to."
Oh, if you're going to do it, brother. Hold on.
What you gonna do, brother?
No, he said, "I'm going to inject a lethal dose of poison. Me and the NWO."
Well, I mean, if you
How'd that
look
go?
at
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
But if you actually look at his promo that he did on on SmackDown,
Right.
Sorry, my bad.
Uh-huh.
You can actually compare that to the same one that Vince McMahon did for the NWO.
Sure.
But if you actually want to go back even a little bit, further, back when DX first did it.
Sure.
Because he did the exact same thing with DX when he injected him into WCW.
Well, you see, here's the deal. I like Vince a whole lot better than I like Triple H, so I'll be less critical of him. That's just the reality of it. That's right. I admitted to some bias right here on Loganity, like you wasn't here before. Look, I just think it's a bad idea to have the guy that's the CEO of a company who is supposed to not be relevant to anything, and then suddenly he books this whole thing, and he's going to lead the war. And why do you need your big nose in there, Paul Levesque? You already sleep with the boss's daughter. You already have more world championships than you ever should, because the reality is you're the guy that works with the guy that draws a lot of money. You already are listed amongst the greats only in WWE folklore, because, again, that's the way you want it to be. And now, you have to be the leader of the new blood. You have to be a leader of the next generation. Why? You're pushing 50. You're drinking Geritol. What? No one has ever said The Undertaker is going to lead the new generation. No. No one's ever said Kane. No one's ever said Flair. No. They haven't even pretended that they're the new generation. But you, on the other hand, yeah, you're going to start a war, pal. You're the kind of moron that can't start a lawnmower currently. Because how in the world, at 50 years old, I'm expected to buy the Triple H, again, the COO of the company he's declaring war on, by the way. He is the face of NXT. It's an insult and a slap in the face to everyone on the NXT roster that you have to stand in the back of this big steroided up muscle head. Are you kidding me? And I know, he's not on steroids, pal. Well, let me tell you something. Google 2006, Triple H was a lot fatter and his ego was just as big. So I think it's absolutely a travesty. It's an embarrassment. And again, you really have some ego issues there, game. You really have some major ego issues that you have to inject yourself as the front of the face of the new cool thing because you're not cool anymore. You're young, you're old, you're what you said you'd never be. You're the authority. You're the New York Yankees, you sellout moron. I just don't dig it. I just don't dig it. Look. Your time, as far as being a member of the full-time game, is over. Turn the system off. Get back in the boardroom, you joke. Just my opinion.
Without Triple H, you would not have NXT, though.
You would of NXT. Let's not act like he's some visionary. All he's doing is ripping off a thing called the NWA. That's what he's doing. He gets his visionary from Vince McMahon and Dusty Rhodes. He doesn't have one original idea in a dehydrated BB he calls a brain. None. He's got nothing.
Wow, tell us how you really feel about Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Wow, and to hate a man for not knowing how to start a lawnmower, he was born into privilege, sir.
Yes.
He had
He's
the
a
help
blue
for
blood.
that.
He's a blue blood, for God's sake. He's an absolute overrated joke.
I look at it differently. You're gonna get more eyes if Triple H is out there per se, and so he's doing what he was doing a few years ago. Every new signee, I'm gonna post it on Twitter. Okay. Yeah, there's ego there. I'm sure that's fine. But you're putting him over. So now, okay, this guy that hasn't been watching, not me particularly, but Joe Smo hasn't been watching wrestling for a while, but used to love Triple H. Oh, who's this? Oh, Triple H. Oh, he's behind this guy. So maybe that's to give them more credibility the way Vince McMahon has done in the past. I think it's very similar, and to hate the man for that is egregious, sir.
So let me ask you a question. Ponder this as we go to break. If it's just he's trying to bump up ratings, where was he for Raw Reunion? Where was he for all these reunion shows? Only when he becomes part of the biggest storyline going on does he bother to poke his big, bald, shiny head out of the boardroom.
He's got to take care of his baby, man.
Look,
behind Vince or Dusty or not, wherever he's getting his ideas from, that's his baby right now.
Baby.
That's what he cares about.
Dusty Rhodes was the surrogate, and don't let him fool you otherwise.
That's fine, and I agree with that because it wouldn't have happened without Dusty.
Right.
He had a big influence on that.
FCW. I mean, come on now.
So, look, he's the guy that works with the guy that draws a lot of money, because the only place Triple H is drawing a lot of money is in his head. So, because let me tell you something, he's never had the hottest t-shirt on WWEshop.com. You can guarantee that. He is what he called Daniel Bryan. And I know it's a storyline, but he is the epitome of B-plus player. That's what he is. And with that, we've gone a little overboard here, and speaking of overboard, let's go ahead and go to break, and I'll come back later and get all hot about AEW.
The future of broadcasting is evolving, and you can be on the front line. Digital and traditional media jobs are being created daily, and the Columbus campus of the Ohio Media School can help you find your next career. With financial aid and job placement assistance available, the Columbus campus of the Ohio Media School provides instruction from industry-experienced veterans like me, ready to share their knowledge of the media broadcasting industry. Contact us today at 614-655-5250 or apply online at beonair.com. The Ohio Media School. Media broadcasting training starts here.
Are you someone who has always dreamed of a career in sports media? The Ohio Media School now offers a 6-month sports emphasis program to prepare you for a whole new career. Whether it's radio or television, play-by-play or production, the Ohio Media School has you covered. You will receive training from professionals that are actually in the industry. The Ohio Media School will get you where you need to be for a successful career in this exciting, expanding field. To schedule a visit, call 614-655-5250 or go to beonair.com. Stop dreaming about a career in sports and make it a reality at the Ohio Media School. Do you have a passion for broadcasting, sports, or film production? The Ohio Media School is currently enrolling. For more information, visit beonair.com or give us a call at 614-655-5250. That's 614-655-5250.
And we're back here on another episode of Loganity. I've gotten my bearings. I've gotten Triple H out of my head. I can't decide who I dislike worse, Triple H or Joey Ryan, but neither here nor there. Now let's talk about what some call the minor leagues, some call the major leagues. I'm going to just call them a league, AEW on TNT. And I know, Jason, I know that's your personal fave. That's why I put it here for you every week.
Well, we'll throw NXT in there too, but yes, AEW I love very much.
Oh, I know you do. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Justin, let me ask you quickly. What do you think about AEW? Do you enjoy it so far?
I feel like they're already slowly going downhill.
Well, hey, I'm on the downhill bandwagon, brother. Hey, we're gonna get along here.
I would love for them to just be able to go out there and be like, you know what, my show beat Raw, my show beat SmackDown, my show is beating NXT, which they're doing every week.
Right.
But I would still love them just to be able to go out and be like, hey, you know what, we have the best wrestling show in the world.
Period. Don't worry about other companies. I mean, now if we could just get you to quit badmouthing The Undertaker, I would like you. But, and if you could just too sweeten me, you're too good for that. Yes. It's
It's too late. It's too late.
too late now.
The wound is still fresh.
Okay, SCU defeated the Lucha Brothers to become the first ever AEW Tag Team Champions. My man, AEW Specialist.
Yes.
What'd you think of it?
I like that tag match, for instance. There's one later that I'll probably rant about too. But I thought it told the story it needed to tell that they set up in the first round when the Lucha Brothers attacked Christopher Daniels. So the right team went over in that aspect. And when you have guys of that caliber that have been wrestling for that long, you almost can't have a bad match.
Right.
Unless you over choreographic like they did later. But that's a different conversation a few minutes from now.
Give me some time. I got to cool off. I'm sweating a little bit. Justin, what'd you think of it? Did you see the match?
I thought it was a decent match. I mean, I feel like there's other teams that could have been in that match in the showplace to get the first ever tag team championship. But you know what? You got to give it to who you got to give it to. You got to give it to someone to carry.
Yeah, someone's got to take the ball. You know,
Right.
I liked it. Again, SCU, it would have felt more special with Daniels because that's, to me, I know, but to me, SCU is kind of because they're in Daniels. They've been attached at the hip. So it'll be interesting if they go kind of Freebird rule on that in 6 to 8 weeks when Daniels is back. Again, it wasn't too overly choreographed. We'll get to that later. And when I say later, I mean just a few minutes. Stay tuned. I liked it. You got to have someone take the ball, and you got to establish names, and I get it. I like it. All right, let's move it along quickly because there's plenty to say here. Cody and Chris Jericho had their contract signing for Full Gear. What'd you think of it, my man? My AEW specialist is what I'm going to call you.
We'll separate this into, they probably should stop referencing WWE stuff. However,
thank you.
Chris Jericho's promo was spot on. Once again, he did his job. He put over the title. Whether he referenced flipping tables or not, he made that title feel even more important. Talking about how I'm a professional. We can shake hands right now. This is about the championship, not how we feel about each other. I didn't really like Cody in that scenario, which is rare for me. I usually love everything he does, but it's...
You felt like you fell flat this time
I kind of think he did.
Okay. Why'd you think that specifically?
I think he didn't want the angle to go the way it did. I think he wanted to have a schmoz with Chris Jericho.
Schmoz. Big league word right
I know, right?
Next thing they're going to be saying things like zeitgeist and things like that. Justin, before I give my hot take on it, what did you think of it?
I'm going completely the opposite because Cody actually went through and said he wants it to be away from WWE. He does not want it to be where I'm going to attack you just because you know it's expected. No, I want something to be the way it should be. Like, hey, we're here for a signing, not to just start kicking each other's butt. So, yeah, it was good and bad in a way because it was very boring.
A little bland.
There's a few things they could have done to spice it up, but you know what? At the end of the day, it was just supposed to be a contract signing. But that kind of goes away from their whole, this is only going to be about wrestling, nothing but wrestling. We're not going to worry about the storylines in the middle, but yet that's all they've been building.
You know, and now I'm going to, and let me tell you what's not bland. Loganity is not bland. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not bland. Can we agree that I'm not bland?
I would wholeheartedly agree with that.
I'm not saying you agree or disagree with me. Just, I'm not bland. So, let me go ahead and give my full thoughts on this one right here. You know, when you say you're over the ex-girlfriend, you usually don't keep talking about the ex-girlfriend. Usually when you've moved on from that relationship in your life, I don't know about you guys, but I've been through some heartbreak in my times. I've been through some rejection. I got a couple of bad texts. And you know, usually when I'm over it, I no longer really think about it. Yet every single week, Cody, Chris Jericho, and company have always got some sort of shot to take at Vincent Kennedy McMahon and his company that has its own struggles. If you are going to establish a brand, literally from day one, they referenced it like it was some sort of continuation of WCW on TNT because they kept saying like March 15, 2001. You're supposed to be a different company because if we're just setting it up for that big twist, well, I'm done reading this M. Night Come Along movie. Ain't happening. It's not happening for me. Because you're supposed to be a different company. So why is it that you keep referencing taking shots to the big bad bully WWE? Again, Chris Jericho, you have no business talking bad about WWE. You were good in WCW. You were good in your early runs in WWE. And then they let you have, Vince, let you have a part-time schedule to your liking. Come and go as you please. What do you got to complain about? All right, you had to put over Fandango. Yeah, that's a problem. But other than that, you were treated like the Ayatollah of rock and roll. You were treated like a star. You got things over. You got the list. You had your own segments. You closed many shows. What complaints do you have? Cody, I know you have several. Stardust, I know you're bitter. I get it. But without the WWE, you're never going to be on Arrow, pal. You're never going to have that because WWE is what gives that exposure. And if you're going to establish your own brand, and Impact was so bad about this for years, why are you referencing the other company? Because then that makes me want to go, well, what's going on with that other company? It's like Bischoff when he said, don't. Yeah, that'll put, butts in seats. That makes you flip over and go, well, let's see what they're doing. Don't worry about it. Yes, we know WWE exists. Yes, we know AEW exists. But can't we all just keep it separate here? Can't we all just keep it partisan? Let's go Republican and Democrat and not do a job. Let's just keep it separate. Why? If you're establishing a brand, because you're supposed to be better. Better is not snide. Better is not sarcastic. Better is not some subtle shot to get over with the lowest common denominator. Because again, the problem with Cody Rhodes, and your father should have taught you better. I'm sure he did. You're not supposed to just get over with the internet marks. You're not. Because what's that going to draw you? About 1 million people. A little less, a little more.
I still think the companies are working together. I think that they're doing what WWE was doing at the end with WCW.
You're really buying into that Vince Russo shtick.
Yes, I am. I think that they are working together. Because why do you think they keep referencing each other so much?
Because, well...
And even your guy, Triple H. I mean, he's constantly ripping... not NXT, but AEW, he's constantly ripping about how his brand is better than that, and he's trying to point out the flaws in this. They're doing exactly what WCW did with WWE buying them out.
Well, now that you want to get me going on Triple H again, the reason that Triple H wants to reference that T-shirt company is because he feels hurt that his friends have gone to that T-shirt company. He feels hurt that his guy, Billy Gunn, is there. He feels hurt that a guy he idolizes in Arn Anderson because he's an old school NWA guy is there. And so I think because... Look, this is wrestling. We can't have real emotion here and just say, I'm really disappointed they made that choice. We have to take subtle shots. That's what wrestling's taught us. We have to take subtle shots and we got to fight. We can't just be like, you know what, I'm really disappointed in you, Hart. I'm really disappointed in you, Double A. I've watched you my whole life. I kept you a job, and now you want to leave. He can't just admit that, so he's got to take shots at it. Of course, Billy Gunn is one of his guys, DX, that whole sort of thing. And so he's disappointed in that, and I think that's what that is. I think there's a matter of bitterness between both companies in the sense that I know WWE feels like they've done Arn Anderson just fine. They kept him a job for since WCW shut down. So there's bitterness there. Billy Gunn, his only relevance is WWE. Nobody cares about Billy Gunn in AEW. He doesn't attract name. Billy Gunn is the side man. Billy Gunn is, he's a B+ Slash. Nobody cares about Axel and Slash on their own. You want Axel and Slash together. Well, you need Road Dogg Jesse James for that, and he's in WWE. So again, for me, it's just keep it separate. If you are this great new league, then stop referencing any old leagues. I don't get it. You don't see the NFL talking about the XFL. They're not ever going to. Because they're not going to want to give any credence, and I don't mean Clearwater Revival, to anything the XFL does or any competitor. You didn't see them talk about it with the AAF that was up for about a month and went belly up, and Johnny Manziel was there for 2 weeks. And
that's why it went under.
Yeah, probably. it went under because he couldn't pass. But pass what? I'll get to that later. So yeah, I just didn't like that. But let's move it along. Santana and Ortiz, what are they? They're now known as Proud and Powerful, something like that.
Proud and Powerful,
yes. Yeah, because I kind of like LAX better. Yeah. I don't usually give much credit to the Impact creative team, but
there's probably some copyright problems there.
Sure, but we couldn't do anything.
I mean, so I love AEW, but they came up with Full Gear. Did you expect them to come up with a better name for LAX?
Yeah, because
that doesn't light the world on fire. I mean, WWE has some stinker names too, but
it doesn't even strike a match, buddy.
Full Gear, what is that, man?
They beat down the Rock and Roll Express. That's right. It's 2019, and the Rock and Roll Express were involved in an angle on a major program. If you don't think that's cool and weird all at the same time, check your engine and give it some gas. I loved it because it establishes Santana and Ortiz as real villains, because the Rock and Roll Express are the lovable vets. We all know how old they are. We all know what kind of legends they are. And so to beat them down the way they beat them down, it's just cruel. It's like beating down your grandfather. And so it makes you borderline uncomfortable because for me, because I haven't seen them work in quite some time, I do know that they have some appearances in NWA, and we'll someday when there's more time in the world we might get to that. But I haven't seen them work a whole lot, so it's a little uncomfortable to see the two big, young, buff, over guys beating down what's left of the Rock and Roll Express. And so I thought it was a great villainous way to get, you talk about heat, that's habanero pepper right there. Because, look, we all love our legends. We all love our legends. Don't believe me? Roman Reigns nearly retires The Undertaker, and he gets called everything but a white man that next night on Raw. He gets called everything but a white man. And so it got bowl and shoe ugly. So it's a great way to draw heat. It's old school. I loved it. But for everything they do, there's things that take me off. But I'm going to let you give your thoughts on what you thought of that segment.
I loved it too, and it's a fine example of AEW being able to pull off the not cool heel stuff, the straight up just heel stuff that turns the crowd like that, that WWE does struggle with. But that's one thing that AEW excels at. Nobody's a cool. Everybody's getting booed. Yeah. Every time Chris Jericho hears cheers, nope, he comes up with something off the wall, and the whole crowd boo, and it's freaking Chris Jericho. Yeah,
and it's hard to boo Chris Jericho.
It is hard to boo Chris Jericho.
It really is. He's so fan, but no, I loved it because it's old school, because that's the way heels ought to be. Everybody in the business, Impact, WWE especially, pay attention. Pay attention to this, because that's being a heel. That's being nasty. That's taking, that's a little ruthless aggression. That's what that's about. That was beautiful. That was so well done. Like, I loved it. It's almost like that horrible tag match that we're going to talk about later didn't happen.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Anywho, what'd you think of it, Justin, before we move on?
I loved and hated it. I hate the fact that they keep relying on WWE legends to come in there and basically, hey, I'm going to give you a cheap pop. Bret Hart, when he came in with the title, they're coming in with the title. Again, a WWE legend coming in with the title.
Sure.
So they're going to throw heat, of course, on them because it's them.
Because they're WWE Hall of Famers.
But I think it's leading to something. I think it's going to lead to the Rock and Roll Express either A, having a match, or B, they're going to be a manager for a match coming up against, I'm not going to say who.
So you're telling me the Rock and Roll Express is not done in AEW, is your prediction right here on Loganity?
That is my prediction.
My God, that's not insanity.
Is it Loganity?
You're still in McGinnick, brother. So first he won't too sweet me. Talks bad about The Undertaker, and now he steals my gimmick.
Things just got real serious here, folks.
Styles, where are you? I need a life raft here, brother. Styles.
Why would you go with him? If you're going to go with a life raft, you need somebody that's going to float, not sink.
Look. All I'm saying is...
In that case, then The Undertaker would be a good choice. He's not going to sink.
Oh, boy. See, there you go. See, we're about to... might have to cut the break on you. Anywho, no, I loved it. I absolutely did. Then we saw the best friends and my personal favorite wrestler, and I say that with such strong, dripping sarcasm. I hope it's got more condensation than summertime, man. Orange Cassidy in action. Why?
How is he even a wrestler?
How am I supposed... What? You're the AEW guy, right? You like this company. You're really a big fan.
Yeah.
They haven't morally bankrupt anything yet. Give it time.
Not yet.
Why should I take Orange Cassidy with any grain of salt? Anything. Why should I subject my eyeballs, which have enough damage as it is? That's why I'm wearing these.
He's the hornswoggle.
Because in the great history of professional wrestling, you need some comedy involved. For me, I think it's hilarious. Every time it makes me laugh. I don't know why, but it does. And the stories I hear is this is what he had to do to get over, kind of like the Joey Ryan situation. You just go all left field because you're not making any money and you got to do something. This stuck, so why not run with it?
Because your hands are in your pockets, you're going to trip.
That's why. The things he can do with his hands in his pocket are amazing.
Look.
He's the Titus. I'm sorry. He's going to trip and go into that ring.
His hands?
He probably, but that's
fair. His hands are in his pocket. He wrestles with his hands in his pockets. Think about this.
Well, he'll be good for a strap match. It'd be good for a strap match because it's not like they can do anything anyways.
By God, I think we just gave AEW the next gimmick.
Ooh, Darby Allin with his hands cuffed versus Orange Cassidy.
Again, the fact that there's
I
laughter.
almost gave him a coronary just now.
The fact that there's laughter, like children seeing an ice cream truck, tells you that this is ridiculous. What? His hands are in his pockets! And he wrestles with his hands in his pockets. And I'm expected to take it seriously. Again.
He's going to pull out one of those bonkers mallets. All of a sudden, he's going to start pulling it out and just pulling it out. It's going to hit him in the head with it.
If he does that, if that ever takes place, they're no longer getting talked about on this show.
I think that's fair because I might have to turn it off if he
Until
does
they,
that.
look, I'll even give them the chance to publicly apologize for the angle. When they publicly apologize for the angle, then we talk about it again. But if that ever takes place, if we get any more shenanigans, then that there,
Good word. Yes.
it's over. It's over. It's over, pal. And you know what's not over to me? Orange Cassidy. That's not over. Hands in pockets, and I'm supposed to watch it and take it seriously.
Oh, hey, I never said it was over. I just think it's hilarious. It's
Look,
a totally different
look,
thing.
Look,
I'm not running out to buy any Orange Cassidy
shirts
T-shirts.
at Hot Topic or anything like that. There, I put them over for you. Look, I'm already struggling enough as it is. When on Mondays and Fridays I have to somehow take Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio as a credible match for the next several weeks. And then I'm hoping for a new flavor. I'm hoping for something a little different. Yeah, I'm getting a little different. I'm getting Nut House different. I'm getting walking around the reformatory different. With Orange Cassidy, this is what's... You're supposed to be a serious brand of professional wrestling, and this is what... I mean, next thing you know, Santino Maria is going to dress up as a girl again. Look, I'm all for comedy, but if you're going to do comedy, there's a way to do it without devaluing everything. Stone Cold and Booker T in a supermarket was comedy.
That was hilarious.
You know, and we all can still hear, I'm going to get you. And price check on a... It's a PG show. We can all still hear price check on a... Again, PG show. You know the line.
You know what I expect.
You just heard it in your head, didn't you?
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
I know what's going to happen. Orange Cassidy's going to start ripping off Stone Cold with the milk truck, with all the fun stuff that happened with Stone Cold. I bet Orange Cassidy starts doing his own version.
So does that mean that him and Shark Boy are going to have a big issue there? Because you remember Shark Boy became an essential ripoff of Stone Cold with his shell, yeah. That's right.
Gilbert's coming back to do the angle, though.
About that.
Well, I'm every time I see Orange Cassidy on the TV, I was hoping we wouldn't talk about it on Tuesday, but here we are. Here we are. All right, let's move it along. I've said enough about it. Hangman Page, he beat Inner Circle member. Go ahead and give it to me. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I thought it was great.
Go ahead.
I mean, I think it was a better match than what Hangman had with a couple of guys, to be honest. Sammy Guevara's got a bright future.
Absolutely.
I'm interested to see, like, because they've been trying to make things make sense with their storylines.
Except for Orange Cassidy.
Well, that's different. Right. But I guess I'm just kind of interested to see why Sammy Guevara and Hangman. It's kind of goes back to you. It was just kind of two guys out there. Yeah. There was no. I mean, he's in the Inner Circle, but Jericho beat Hangman Page months before the Inner Circle formed. So what does that?
Was ever supposedly?
Yeah. So what's the point? Like, it was a good match, but
it was solid,
there's no story to
it.
it.
It felt like let's two names out of a hat, stick them in there. And I can't stand that. And I'm not being critical of AEW on that point. You've heard me say it in WWE. Like, why? You know, that's why I don't watch 205 Live, because it's a bunch of guys. Yes, they might put on the best matches of the year, but if I'm not invested in their story, I just don't personally care. How about you, Justin? What'd you think of it?
Honestly, I really did not care too much for this match, because I thought originally when they first hired him, they were going to build him up, make him something good, and then it's like, okay, we're just going to kind of give you a few lackluster performances, and hopefully you can build yourself from there.
Get yourself over.
Kind of threw Hangman to the wolves is kind of what you're saying.
Currently, I feel like he would be left hostage on a flight to some foreign country if it came to it.
Now, you want to hear a bad thought? What if they did a Page versus Page match? Okay. We were talking about it last week, DDP coming out of retirement.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I wouldn't hate it, because I think DDP could probably still go much better than he thinks he could still go.
I'm sure.
Because of DDP yoga, which, again, we're not putting over, but it's saved lives.
That is very painful, by the way.
Look, that's inappropriate. You don't need to talk about that on there. You just don't need to. Anyway, let's get on to the tag match of tag matches. The Elite. Oh, God. You take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yes, blatantly obvious that this match was highly choreographed to the effect that it showed in Kenny Omega, who doesn't highly choreograph everything. He's got highly choreographed spots here and there, but the Young Bucks choreographed the whole thing. Even you could just tell in the way Kenny was wrestling that we talked about this for 3 hours before we had this match, and we plotted everything out, and now we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. And they didn't listen to the crowd at all. And that's not like Kenny Omega either.
Well, it's because he got speaking of dehydrated BBs for brains, the Young Bucks, he got poisoned with that. It's gonna look cool. It'll look like a video game.
Who was it that needed it choreographed? Have they never had like a 3-way?
Hey, PG. Hey, again, won't you sweep me? You talk bad about the Undertaker, and now you're risking sponsorship.
Hop on that. That's what my problem is.
No,
with the
hop
Young
on.
Bucks.
Hop on what? No, crazy.
This is a PG show. I was talking about his idea. They're so talented. They don't need to choreograph their stuff. So I don't understand why they do it. They're immensely talented. But why they have to plot out every last thing in their matches, I'll never understand.
Is it a confidence issue? Is it a matter of they don't know? Like,
there's somebody in there that can't carry themselves. Who is it in that whole group that cannot carry themselves? Because they have to have everything rehearsed and scripted and ready to go.
Yeah, because to me, this isn't. We're not making a sitcom here. This is professional wrestling. Yes, by all means, plan out a few big spots, but overall, call that sucker in the ring and do it old school. That's the way it ought to be. And so to me, it's an absolute joke. It's an absolute travesty. And again, I file it under of why should I take it seriously? Except for the fine listeners of Loganity, of course. In which case, of course, I'll take it seriously enough to watch it. And then I'll sit there and I'll practically cry because Kenny Omega, I think you're better than this. Young Bucks, I know you're better than this. But no. Stop Kevin Federline. Stop all that. Stop MC hammering. No, we don't need a bunch of stage dancing. This is professional wrestling. And as they always used to say, it ain't ballet. So I don't need a rehearsed recital. I want a wrestling match. I want cuts. I want bruises. I want angles. I want reasons. I want reasons to care. Instead, you're a human walking street fighter, and I couldn't give the flip of a wooden nickel about almost anything you do. Thanks. Because again, you're appealing to just the internet fan, the chakra crowd, let's not take any of this seriously, because why should we? It's 2019. Complete, utter, laughable. Because look, I know Raw and SmackDown all-time low ratings, but you're not even in the same ballpark. Don't you want to be in that ballpark? There must be some people that take wrestling a little bit more seriously than you do. Because there's a reason that 2-3 million people watch those shows, and only about 1 million have watched AEW. And there's some great stuff on there. I just put over Santana Ortiz big time. I thought that was, magnifique. It was a big league move. It was a Massey's pizza, and that's the Cadillac of pizzas according to some. I just put you over Massey's. Give me a call. So
try Rubino's. It's amazing.
There's plenty. We'll talk after the show. Look, there's plenty there to like. But then for everything there isn't there to like, there's just this laughable what in the world. I know you can say the same thing about WWE, but at least the WWE has had 60 years to run out of ideas. They have a reason to, it's been the same guy for quite some time and we're trying to recycle. This is a brand new, hot, fresh company, and all I get with these certain Cassidy segments and these Young Bucks matches are hot, fresh turds. Hot, fresh, choreographed turds. Why? You're better than this. And Cody, on a personal note, do you think that's what your father thinks professional wrestling was? Hell, do you think that's what your brother thinks professional wrestling is? Right.
His wife can wrestle.
Right now, it's not necessarily a bad thing that you can't use her last name. It's not really a bad thing, because it's pretty darn shameful what you're allowing to pass off as real big league professional wrestling in some aspects of AEW. That's just me. With that, we're going to take our next and final break, and we're going to talk about the Catheter Show. Monday Night Raw.
The future of broadcasting is evolving, and you can be on the front line. Digital and traditional media jobs are being created daily, and the Columbus campus of the Ohio Media School can help you find your next career. With financial aid and job placement assistance available, the Columbus campus of the Ohio Media School provides instruction from industry-experienced veterans like me, ready to share their knowledge of the media broadcasting industry. Contact us today at 614-655-5250 or apply online at beonair.com. The Ohio Media School. Media broadcasting training starts here.
Are you someone who has always dreamed of a career in sports media? The Ohio Media School now offers a 6-month sports emphasis program to prepare you for a whole new career. Whether it's radio or television, play-by-play or production, the Ohio Media School has you covered. You will receive training from professionals that are actually in the industry. The Ohio Media School will get you where you need to be for a successful career in this exciting, expanding field. To schedule a visit, call 614-655-5250 or go to beonair.com. Stop dreaming about a career in sports and make it a reality at the Ohio Media School. Do you have a passion for broadcasting, sports, or film production? The Ohio Media School is currently enrolling. For more information, visit beonair.com or give us a call at 614-655-5250. That's 614-655-5250.
And we're back here on Loganity, another off-the-wall Tuesday. And yes, I do, fellas. Do you think this has been off the wall so far?
Absolutely.
I'm doing. There's no try, pal. There's no try. There's no try. Anywho, let's now talk quickly about, and there's not much quick about it, but Monday Night Raw. Yeah, I know, boo-boo, Snickers. Yes. It's still Monday Night Raw. We got to talk about it. It's been on since 1993, and it's going to be the death of me. And that rhymed. It did.
Yeah.
Okay, first things first. Brock made his illustrious return to Monday Night Raw, and Heyman cut a promo about how, guess what? Because I run this whole thing, I'm just going to absorb the contract, and he can come over because he's Brock Lesnar, he's special, and you're not. I mean, it's almost like he got out of Saudi Arabia before any flight issues. I mean, really.
How dare you insinuate that, sir?
I'm sure he was right there just leading the charge. Prince, I will F5 you. Get this off the ground. Anywho, yeah, we saw that, and again, I love that Paul Heyman cut this kind of work shoot promo thing he occasionally does where it's like, yeah, we know it doesn't make much sense, but frankly, we don't give a damn. Because I'm the creative director of this place, which is what that promo was saying in so many words. So his contract's been absorbed, and now Brock is a full-time, full-fledged member, as full-time as he can be, roster on the Monday Night Raw. And quickly, before I get into why he was on Monday Night Raw, I think that's a good deal because Raw needs star power in the worst way. People can watch SmackDown because it's on Fox. You got The Fiend. You got some stars there. Brock is a legit star that makes Raw a little bit more watchable and a little bit more must-see, especially when he appears, because you're going to get moments like you had here. Brock Lesnar went on the hunt for Rey Mysterio because he's a hard man to find for whatever reason. Could be the size difference. And poor innocent bystanders were assaulted and harassed at Brock Lesnar's never-ending hunt that would make Dog the Bounty Hunter proud at looking for Rey Mysterio. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? We saw even Paul Heyman threaten the death of Jerry the King Lawler and said that no one would be around to revive you this time. Great line, Paul. You're probably going to hell, but great line. Great line. So what'd you think of that? What'd you think of it, guys? Justin, quickly, how about you?
I'm honestly annoyed at the whole thing about him going to Raw because I thought they got rid of, being able to trade shows and just go where you want and do what you want. Then why are they still doing it?
Because he's Paul Heyman and he's the creative director of Raw. That's what that promo pretty much said to you. Essentially,
they really did.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Heyman essentially, Justin, said, screw you and the horse you rode in on. We can do it because he's Brock Lesnar. How about you? How about you, AEW man?
So, man, I'd like it. I mean, at least they explained it.
Yeah.
I did not like the innocent bystanders. Like, there was no wrestler in the back anywhere that big bad Brock Lesnar was like, okay. And then to pick on the King, which great line. I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah.
What I really liked was a commentator stood up for another commentator. I got out of my chair when I saw. I mean, when Dio Madden got up and got right in his face, I was like, "Oh wow, we have a serious commentator here. This is pretty serious."
He takes a bump better than his commentary.
Sure.
That's true. Yeah,
Not that that's a high standard, but not that that's a high standard. I had Taz Michael Cole flashbacks. Anytime Cole would have issues, every while Taz would step up like, I'll throw it back to ECW real quick here, buddy. So I really, really enjoyed that. Again, Joseph, casualties of war, my friend. Casualties of war. Glad you could do the job. I enjoyed it because, again, I enjoy everything Brock Lesnar does because, again, he's the most legit athlete in the company. Yes, no storyline. Brock Lesnar is a grade A jerk if there ever was one. He makes Vince McMahon seem like a saint most days. And that's saying something. But there is no denying how talented and how great and how big of a star and just how serious you have to take him. Plus, when you add Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece, it just, it goes together like spicy garlic and chicken wings. It's just, it's good. It's good. So I like it. Again, I know the whole Raw thing, but frankly, I'm glad to see Raw have a legit star even on a part-time basis because there was no, because yes, I know Becky Lynch is there, but I mean, when that's the face of your brand, especially when she's stale now, that's what I'm supposed to watch the Cather show for? Tough. I do it for you, Loganity listeners. I do it for you. But let's move on to my favorite executive of the company, Triple H. Yes, Mr. Sledgehammer. Yeah, Mr. Sledgehammer. He was right back out there because he is the leader of NXT for whatever reason. To talk to Seth Rollins, who made an announcement about his career, which was really not an announcement at all. He's just, he's downtrodden. He's wondering what to do because the Fiend's got the title. And, oh, golly day, how do I go from here? I mean, I fought so hard to have Brock not be champion, and now this monstrosity represents the brand. And I am such a company man. I can't allow it. And so, of course, Triple H comes out and he circles the wagons and goes, hey, why don't you go back to NXT? Look, why? Again, I know I've done this, but it's a different show, so I gotta do it again. Why is Triple H the face of NXT? He's not on TV every week. He's not even the GM. That's William Regal. I could take that. Triple H has no storyline role with NXT. None. He has none at all. But instead, him and his buddy Shawn Michaels, I'd like to slap that crooked eye straight. They got to be in the spotlight, don't they? They got to be with the stars. Because they're not big stars anymore, are they? No. They're old, out of shape, and trying to stay relevant. That's just the reality of it. Well, excuse me. Triple H takes way too many supplements to be out of shape these days. I apologize. So to me, again, it does NXT a disservice to have your face of the company be the guy that is the CEO of the company, and it's not. I mean, you're telling me that William Regal couldn't do this job? I take William Regal seriously on the mic. He's a great talker, has been for years. Mm-hmm. If you want a veteran to kind of be like, here's a, you want a war sort of deal. Plus, if we're gonna, what happened to the old no authority figure thing anymore? We quickly threw that out the window because if Triple H has some sort of storyline role, it would be an authority figure. Well, where's SmackDown and Raw's authority figure to say, yeah, let's get a war going?
Maybe he's the coach. Think of it like that. Not Jonathan Coachman, but like an NFL team coach.
Yeah, okay.
He's getting them fired up. He knows all the right things to say, and he brought them together to do something great.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how we need to look at this. I know how much you hate Hunter Hearst Helmsley, but,
Maybe,
what are you going to do?
Maybe he's got an extremely fragile ego, and he just...
He's Shawn Michaels' best friend. Of course he does.
Yes.
I mean, I like Triple H, but I'm not blind.
At least you see better than Triple H does.
So we're gonna lead to a Brock Lesnar Triple H match.
Not again, please. I can't do it again.
Like I feel like it's gonna be like if they're doing it all three brands, it's gonna end up being Brock Lesnar somehow as an authority figure thanks to Paul Heyman.
And that's another thing. Where does this lead? Where because this is not a Saudi Arabia show, which are throwaway nostalgia shows by everyone involved, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. This is Survivor Series. You're starting to really be setting the groundwork to WrestleMania here. That's right, WrestleMania. Can't wait to do a special on that.
What number are we at? 200? Just kidding.
It feels like 36 pounds.
That's a lot.
36.
36.
But
4 years older than me today.
So I don't. Happy birthday, sir.
Yeah, happy birthday.
And that's about all you're gonna get from me, given how you've been treating me this entire show. But so again, where does it lead? What's the point? I don't get it. I don't like it. No, I pass.
Probably what led to Eric Bischoff being fired. He probably wrote the storyline.
Well, I would hope that Bruce Pritchard has got more say than that, because if we're still
certainly hope so.
If we're still going on Bischoff's old storylines he had wrote away in the desk somewhere, then what is going on in Stamford? I mean, if that's what we're doing, what's going on in Stamford, Connecticut? Okay, we're gonna move it along. Natalya and Charlotte Flair. That's right. We can't go an episode without saying Ric Flair's daughter. They defeated the Kabuki Warriors. It was a non-title match, so no, Ric Flair's daughter doesn't have another championship to her belt yet. So do you think that they're going to be the new tag team champions?
No.
Why?
I do not think they're going to be able to carry it on. I think they're going to have to build it around somebody else, because eventually they're going to end up kicking Charlotte Flair and Natalya out of the storyline somehow, and they're going to throw somebody else in there and make them be like, hey, we're the shining stars, we're going to take over, and we're going to wear these women belts and wear them proud.
The shining star of the women's division, not named Charlotte Flair? What world are we living in? But my main man over here.
Well, I don't think they'll be champions either. I think this is a placeholder, which is very rare for Charlotte Flair.
Sure.
But it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
You get placeholder feuds, and this is what this is. It's way too early to be talking about taking the title off the Kabuki Warriors.
Well,
they are hot right now.
Well,
as hot as female heels can be, they are hot.
Sure. Again, inappropriate, but sure.
I don't know. Okay, so I'll be more. They are very attractive,
Yes.
but also storyline-wise, they are on fire.
Absolutely.
There we go.
I agree. The only reason I have to figure it is because there seems to be this gravitational pull between a Flair and Gold. So that's why I had to ask.
I know where it's leading. I know where this is leading now, because the Kabuki Warriors just broke up with Paige. Paige is expected to sign on to another team. She's going to lead that team into a battle with the Kabuki Warriors.
So do you think that team is Natalya and Charlotte Flair?
No.
Okay. So what team? Hit me with something. Hit me with a hot take. What team? Quickly. What team do you think it's going to be?
Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey.
Okay, that's a hot take. That's a hot pocket after 2 minutes right there. Oh, that's fresh hot. Speaking of Baszler,
Pretty good.
Speaking of Baszler, she had a confrontation with Becky Lynch, and I do like hot pockets again. Call me. I don't know why I did that more seductively than anything else, and obviously I have my love for hot pockets. Becky Lynch and
You may have an unhealthy love for hot pockets, man.
My girlfriend Peyton is really gonna wonder what's going on. Anyway, Becky Lynch and Baszler, they had a confrontation. What'd you think of it? I was like, shut up and take my money. I'd go watch these two fight. Let's go. Because Becky Lynch, she is stale, but she's still so quick on the mic ever since she's got this new kind of, stone cold Irish persona, the man thing. There's just a certain flavor about her that you gotta love. It doesn't mean that it has the same punch it used to, but you never go, God, that was horrible. How about you, Justin? What do you think?
I absolutely loved it. I mean, it was a good match. I think that they're going to have two very similar styles of fighting. So when they actually go one-on-one, it's going to be one heck of a match.
I think so. I'm looking forward to seeing that at Survivor Series. How about you, Jason?
Oh, I thought it was great. I think the promo from both of them it fits their character. They didn't go crazy because Becky Lynch will beat the crap out of you, and so will Sonya Baszler.
Right.
But there's a time and a place for it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the time for that. And I am really, up here, excited. I'm going through the ceiling for this match. And because I love Becky Lynch and I love Sonya Baszler, and if anyone says they have a more wicked step-up enziguri than Sonya Baszler, they are kidding themselves. Because that thing looks wicked as hell.
It does. It looks as wicked as it was just Halloween last week, and that's what kind of wickedness it looks like. Absolutely, I loved it. Can't wait to see this match. That was so perfectly done, making a tense situation, but we're not going to let the kaboom off yet. We laid the groundwork.
Make us pay for it.
Make us pay for it. See, that's a story, pal.
So I got another question based off of that.
I got an answer.
Do you think we're going to get more women's like tag team titles? Do you think we're going to have one for each brand, or do you think they're going to have a rotating one that's just going to rotate?
I think it's a
brands?
rotating one because I think I don't think there's enough creativity in that room to have multiple tag. Look, there's too many belts as it is. So I think one is all they can handle, and they can barely handle that because the Iconics had those belts for a long time, didn't do squat with them. So.
Since we're speaking of tag teams, did you hear about that new tag team name for Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss?
I did not.
I didn't either.
It was supposed to be Crisscross Applesauce.
I really hope that doesn't get printed on a T-shirt.
That's what she was posting on her Twitter. That's what she wants her new name to be for the team.
Oh, pass. That's a hard no. That's a hard no. Nope. Mm-mm. Rusev, who again, the only feud that ever came out of the Team Hogan, Team Flair thing was the Rusev Bobby Lashley
feud already.
But anywho, he defeated Drew McIntyre via disqualification because Bobby Lashley was out there. We get it. See, this was where I thought it took a step back. As much as I could tolerate the craziness, and I've tolerated a lot of it, I felt like this was trying too hard. This was, why is Drew McIntyre deserves better than this. You know, Drew McIntyre ought to be gearing up. We're going to be gearing up for somebody like The Undertaker. Instead, he's a part of this. No. Get the yucky away from him. No, don't give him the ugly. Don't give him the SpongeBob ugly. Don't do it. Look, this needs to stay between Rusev and Bobby Lashley. Nobody else should do it because if you're going to trailer park style this thing, if you're going to fight over that pack of marbles in the trailer park, you're not going to involve old Jimmy Red down the street. You're going to involve just Rusev and Bobby Lashley. If that's who this is really about, if it's about Lana, that's all that matters. You can keep doing those kind of angles at restaurants and other establishments, and I can tolerate that. But again, once you get a guy like Drew McIntyre who is a star, all capital letters, he's the chosen one. He's the chosen one. And to have him come back and so quickly being just kind of thrown away in this throwaway is like, well, then why do we have him come back in the first place? Am I off base here, guys?
No, actually, from what I heard, when he came back, he was actually told he's going to get a good push. That's the only reason he even came back in the first place. Yeah. And he started getting a push. And then all of a sudden, no, you're going back to mid-card.
Yeah, like, oh, we went push for Team Flair, which was really a push for Flair because he's not over enough after 40 years. That whole thing. AJ Styles and the OC. Yeah, that's right, the Two Sweet Club, which Justin's not a member of. He's not. He doesn't live in that world. Defeated Humberto Carrillo, and the Street Profits. I liked the match. I did. I just don't like that the Street Profits had to be a casualty of it because the Street Profits shouldn't be losing. The Street Profits are stars. They are true stars. They have all the charisma in the world. They have the charisma level of a Rock. They really do. Of a Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who lost his chemistry and charisma long ago. If you don't believe me, he might have to check his wrist. But
he's going to lay the SmackDown on you.
Please do. We could use the viewership here, Logan. Please do. Come on in, Dwayne. I got something to say to you.
Dwayne, I will DM you the address, buddy.
No, and I'll say it to your face. I'll say it to your side. I'll say it to that big old back. And I'll say it to your brand new tattoo. And I'll come right back around and say it to your face. You sell out. You 7 years. So if you go ahead and you DM here, we might be 7 years getting you the address. Because we're just going to take our time with it. Maybe we can do something via satellite, Dwayne, because that's more your style. Anywho,
he's got to get back on track, folks.
But again, the Street Profits to me are stars. I saw you giving me the weird eye there, Justin. Do you disagree with that statement?
I absolutely do.
Why is that?
I just don't think that they should even be pushing AJ Styles and OC at this point. Like, I mean, they're competing against Humberto. A nobody. Humberto, again, nobody. And the Street Profits.
Robin.
What good fight have they had since they've been in WWE?
Who? The OC or the
Street Profits? So basically, you're just burying these people for what reason?
No, you're not burying these people. I don't like it, but all kidding aside, they are the smoke. They want the smoke. And right here, Logan, look, I don't like this, but act like it's a burial. Look, it's AJ Styles. AJ Styles is probably the greatest performer in the company today, if not in the world. So I don't think it's a burial. I don't like it, but to say like, well, the luster's off the apple, no, it's just, it's a slow build to getting where the Street Profits I think are really going to go. Because with the kind of TV time they've had, with the kind of hype they've had, I think there's a long-term plan involved for the Street Profits because they let them announce things like The Undertaker coming back and Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. you don't give that to guys unless you have a lot of faith in them, especially when you consider the fact that the heavy rumors are those aren't pre-taped segments back there. They let them do them live. So that tells you that's the heavy rumor.
Wow.
They let them do them live. So that tells you there's hope. That tells you there's a plan. I don't like it, but let's not act like the OC and AJ Styles, they're the greatest tag team in the world, pal. They just won the match in Saudi Arabia. So they won the tag team turmoil match. So but you got beat by the greatest tag team in the world. No shame in that, pal. But no, I don't like it. But to say it's a burial, I think that's going a little far, Justin. A little far. I mean,
I don't know. It's more or less a burial for Humberto.
Well,
he's already kind of down on the very, very bottom of the.
Well, he's got to work his way up. He can't just come in here and he's not Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I mean
he can't just beat AJ Styles.
Yeah, he's had matches with Seth Rollins and AJ Styles, the two top stars on Raw until Brock was moved back. So I mean, there is. I wouldn't again not call it a burial. It's just he's the young kid that's got to develop. It's one of those things. You're going to be as good as I am someday, son. You ain't there yet.
So I might add, those two have really, really good chemistry.
Absolutely.
They have developed tremendous chemistry these 3 weeks that they've been wrestling each other.
Absolutely. Humberto still looks like deer in headlights with his promo time. It's awful. It's horrible.
I think that's why they stuck him with the Street Profits, because they're so good at it. It could kind of take away from his greenness on the microphone.
Humberto looks like me the first time I saw Orange Cassidy. It was just... supposed to take this seriously? So that's just... And so lastly, to finish up Raw, there was the NXT Championship match with, of course, you had to have Triple H sitting out there, scouting, because he might be scouting for his next big match. Seth Rollins defeated Adam Cole via disqualification. Did you like how I did that, folks? You thought the NXT Championship had gone to Raw. No, that's not what took place. It ended up in a big brawl at the Undisputed Era. What'd you think of the closing, guys?
It really annoyed me. Why is OC getting involved in Seth Rollins' affairs?
Because we've got no plan. That's why.
They're towing the company line.
Yeah.
If NXT's coming, Raw's going to fight back. That's the only thing I can think of for that.
That's it.
That's it. Like, no. These young, no. This is our show. Get the hell out of here.
Maybe they're more like Vince McMahon in the 80s with that music video going, stand back. That whole thing there. So maybe that was the thing. Yeah, I think it was the old, we're going to show Lodi the brand, even though it's the same company, and that makes
So are we already showing our Survivor Series teams then?
I feel like it, but we're not going to go ahead and talk about it until it becomes official, which I imagine will become official over the next week. And then next week here at Loganity, we're going to give that to you and scratch our heads.
The only thing I didn't like about the end was they had to hold back because of the finish.
Oh, absolutely.
Those two could have had such a better match if not for how the finish was supposed to go down. I'm never going to complain about a big smodge of a bunch of guys we don't see around each other a lot. You see Rusev and Lashley and 3 other guys for a month and a half. It's not that big of a deal. But we got new guys out here. Like, who is this? What is going on?
Yeah, the Undisputed Era is out there. And so, it had a different feel. It had an old school Nexus type feel. That's right. Wade Barrett. Oh, we miss you. And Heath Slater before he had kids. And all those guys. And Ryback before he was Ryback.
The only one that became a star was Daniel Bryan.
And I tell you what, he choked some people out for it.
Yes, he did.
If you catch my drift. Sorry, Justin Roberts. Maybe that's why he's in AEW now. Justin Roberts might be in AEW now because maybe it's that whole thing. He was waiting for the right company to come along. And he goes, I'm going to get mine, because that man should have never got another job in that company. But as soon as another brand comes up, I'm leaving high and dry. Anywho, I enjoyed it to the extent, but I get what you're saying about the OC. But again, I think it's the whole brand loyalty thing. By the way, just quick note, if I can do it quickly, I hate that all of a sudden one time a year we're supposed to have brand loyalty. Every other time of the year doesn't matter. But by God, come turkey time, where you are matters.
Roman Reigns, I'm gonna flip you in this ambulance, but come around Thanksgiving, we are best friends.
We are teammates.
We are gonna flip that ambulance together.
We are teammates, and so that makes you like. Guys like The Fiend are supposed to have brand loyalty. Brock Lesnar is supposed to have brand loyalty. Their characters are above brand loyalty. They don't care what brand they're on. Well, I mean, maybe Brock cares because Paul Heyman is the creative director of Raw, in case you didn't know or didn't learn that Monday night. But yeah, I just don't like it.
It was very evident last night.
It couldn't have been painted more clear. It couldn't have been painted more clear. It was crystal. It was absolutely, it was water purified for us, the dog, to know who runs and pulls the strings around there because he can. All right, with that, we've reviewed it, we've talked about it. Now it's time for my favorite segment to close it down. That's right, Rumor Rundown. Rumor Rundown, my favorite thing in the world. DQ, of course, it means false. You're going to DQ it if you think, that's a no-go, ring the bell. No DQ means true. So I got these hot little rumors here. Let's talk about them. The Saudi Arabia contracts will be fulfilled. There's the deal to 2030, the one show that we already see. Now we got the new show till at least 2027. Again, Mark Calloway, Undertaker, get your guy liner in your hat, pal. Because the whole roster don't want to work it, and someone's got to show some loyalty. So we're going to see a whole lot more interest in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So, DQ or no DQ, Justin, do you think these deals are going to meet their fruition?
DQ all the way.
Okay. Saying false, given the issues, I imagine.
Given the issues and the fact I don't think they're going to have enough people to go over there anymore.
The other J to this trio of J's, yes?
I'm going to no DQ it.
Okay.
I mean, you back enough money back up to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, the stars might not go, but not everybody on the roster makes star money.
Right.
You can only say no to so much.
Right, so you get the stars, you call up one Undertaker, and you go, get your guy liner, get your hat, get your jester man, get on a plane.
And how many jobbers can you grab from out of there?
Right.
I mean,
So you got to call the part-timers. John, I'm talking to you. Got to call the part-timers. Hey, Triple H, guess what? For as much as I don't want to see you, time to get in there. Time to get in there and make sure those needles are in the vein. I'm going to no DQ it because money is money and money is money, pal, and that's how that works. And yeah, they're going to be fulfilled, and we're going to watch it, which means a lot more one-off Undertaker matches, I got a feeling, given all the issues. And as morally bankrupt as that might be for me to say, I'm happy about that potential prospect. Triple H will wrestle at Survivor Series. DQ, no DQ, give it to me.
That's definitely going to be no DQ.
Okay.
He's got to have his match at WrestleMania. You know that. So he's got to get himself in shape.
All right, so yeah, he's going to wrestle at Survivor Series. I'm going to go ahead and no DQ it. I think he's going to be like the fifth man of a mysterious NXT team sort of thing, that whole thing. How about you, Jason? What do you got for me? DQ, no DQ, Triple H wrestles at Survivor Series.
I'm going to no DQ it, and I think they're just going to keep it simple, which is rare, and he's just going to wrestle Seth Rollins because he kind of stabbed Seth Rollins in the back because there's no way, storyline-wise, that the NXT roster would interfere in that match unless Triple H told him to.
Yeah, I absolutely. I certainly think that one Paul Triple H Levesque has plans to get right back in the ring. Unfortunately, the Universal Championship will get a new look now that it's property of the Fiend. DQ, no DQ.
No DQ. It's definitely going to look different, and they're going to get the same people that made that face lantern to do it.
Yes, I do believe it's going to be an entirely much cooler, not a flaming hot Dorito championship. I can't wait to see it, especially now it's going to SmackDown. Justin, how about you?
No DQ as well. I think it's going to look just like the lantern.
And now we're going to end it controversially by playing a no DQ game on. The flight delays were done on purposely by Saudi Arabia. DQ or no DQ?
No DQ. They held them there on purpose. There's no storyline, no collusion. They're both just jerks. Rich billionaires that have so much money and they just got to play around with the talent.
I'm going to go ahead and say DQ because I don't believe that Vince McMahon's going to put his entire roster through that fresh off a whole nother deal. Justin, how about you? What do you got? DQ, no DQ? On purpose or not on purpose? Go ahead.
No DQ. Vince McMahon planned it.
Well, you have it here, folks. And with that, that's been another edition of Rumor Rundown. And that's been another edition, another Off the Wall Tuesday, and I am the leader of Off the Wall. I'm the living, breathing embodiment of it. I am Loganity. It's been a pleasure. Thank you both for being on here. I hope you've had fun. And Justin, have you had fun?
Absolutely.
Okay. Always
A great time here on Loganity,
and
good
of course,
sir.
Mr. Hot Hand, thank you for all that you do. Thank you. And thank you, most importantly, listeners, for tolerating all this. We'll be back right here next week with another edition of Loganity presented by Mojo Sports.